Hi, this is Bob Simon and welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn about the where statement. The where statement is used to filter a table down to a subset of records. In this example, we're going to actually use a different table. So let's open a new SQL editor. SQL, new script. And we're going to use the NASDAQ price history table. So let's go ahead and select all the columns from your database name, so it's going to be NeonDB, your schema name, which is public, and your table name, which is NASDAQ price history. And let's limit, forget about that for now, let's limit our records to just 1,000, just so we could kind of explore this table before we actually start working with it. And let's execute the SQL script. So here we have a date. We have the open price. So the date represents a full month. If you remember back to the setup series, we're not looking at individual days. We aggregated everything to a specific month. We have the month's open price. We have the month's high price. We have the month's low price. We have the month's closing price and adjusted closing price. We have how many shares were sold during the month and what the stock symbol is. So let's do some filtering. Let's say we want to look at only two different stock symbols. Let's pick Apple and Google for an example. All we're going to do, right after the from statement is where the where statement goes. So we're just going to type where. And now, let me give you some room here. We want to look at stock symbol Apple or stock symbol Google. So we're going to do just that. Remember, you have to be very specific when you're referencing the column names in this data set. So symbol equals, then you're going to use single quotes now. So single quote's a little bit different than a double quote. So a single quote is actually going to represent a comparison with a text value, whereas the double quote is reserved for column names. Okay? So we're going to say where the symbol is AAPL. And there's two ways we can do this, and we'll do them both. Or the symbol equals GOOGL for Google. So let's run these results and see what we get. So now you can see all we have are results for Apple and Google. Okay, so nothing else here, just two stock symbols. So we've successfully filtered to Apple or Google. Okay, there's two ways you can do this. When you're using an or statement, you can actually do this as well. Symbol, actually let's start a new query. Let's not mix this up. So we're just going to copy this query. We'll add a semicolon here just to separate them. And we got a new query. So here you can actually use what's called an in operator. So we're going to say where symbol, let's get rid of everything else here, is in a list. And our list is going to include the two stock tickers that we used in the previous query. So Apple or Google. Okay, so let's see if we get the same results. See, it's a lot more compact. It's one line, it's not two lines, right? We don't have to repeat symbol. We can just say where the symbol is in a defined list. So let's go ahead and run these. So we're going to run the execute SQL script option. And we should get two tabs. So the first tab, of course, is going to relate to the first query, and the second tab is going to relate to the second query. So we have 122 records, and we have Apple and Google in this last column here, you can see, right? I'm looking at this column here. Apple and Google are our only two options. So let's go to the second tab, which corresponds to our second query. Here we have, again, 122 records, and we have Apple and Google as our only two symbols. So these two queries do exactly the same thing. My preference is to use the bottom query. And we'll just say that is our preferred option. Okay. Now, the reason I prefer this is A, it's more compact and easier to use. But let's say you wanted to add another condition in here. Let's say we wanted to look at dates from 2023. So if you just go right into your next condition, right, the symbol we want to use an or condition because we want to look at Apple or Google, and we want to filter on the date, and we want the date to fall within 2023 only. It's actually the month, it's not the individual date. You could do something like this, greater than or equals to, then the way you're gonna check a date is you're going to just type it out with the year, followed by the 2-digit month, followed by the 2-digit day. So we're going to say where it's greater than or equal to 1/1/2023. And the date is less than 2023/12/31. So what this says is we're looking at Apple or Google, and we want the date to be after January 1st, 2023, and before December 31st, 2023. Okay, so let's run this and see what we get. And I'll show you another option to write that as well. This is just a warning saying we already have a couple tabs open. Do we want to clear these tabs before executing the new query? Yes, let's go ahead and do that. So here we all of a sudden have 73 records. Okay, but if you look at the date field, we would expect to have fewer records because we had 122 to start. Then we added an additional filter, and now we went down to 73 records. However, we have dates that fall outside of January 1st, 2023 and December 31st, 2023 because the order of operations is screwed up. Just like a math problem, a SQL problem needs to be told how do we want to process our where condition statements. So in this case, we're running right from the or into this and. The way we want to handle this, so if you look, let's just actually sort here this date column on the ascending date. We actually have dates going back to 2018. And our data stops at the end of 2023. So we have earlier dates that we want. So what we have to do is we have to wrap our or statement with parenthesis, open and closing parenthesis. So what this is going to do is it's going to say, okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to execute the or statement, which is we want the symbol to be Apple or Google. Then we want to make sure that it's also, because we're using and, so it's an also condition, not an either or condition. And the date has to be after January 1st, 2023 and less than 12/31/2023. So let's see if we get different results. Okay, we now have, what we do? We now have 24 results, which looks about right. We have 2 stock tickers, and we only want a monthly view for 2023 only. It's 12 months in 2023, so we would expect to have 24 records. So one thing you always want to do when you're writing queries, you always want to make sure that the output matches kind of the reasonability check, right? If you're expecting 2 stock tickers over a 1-year period on a monthly view, if you get anything other than 24 records, you probably have something wrong. Either you're over-filtering or under-filtering the data. So let's, where'd my mouse go? Here we go. So you've got 12 records for Google, and you've got 12 records for Apple. And if we order this on the date ascending, you can see the first date that we have is now 1/31/2023. It's based on the month ending date. So there should be no dates 1/1/2023. And our last date is 12/31/2023. So that is a successful query filter. And again, these parentheses make all the difference. You forget these parentheses and you're going to have some crazy results. And sometimes there's a lot more than just what we saw here with an extra 50 records or so. Okay, so there's also an easier way to write this date range, okay? We can use the between operator. So Let's use our and condition because here in the second query, remember we simplified it. We said where the symbol is either Apple or Google, and we just did it with this nice clean lookup list. So now we don't have to worry about order of operations because the in statement takes care of that for us. It combines those two, Apple and Google, as if we were writing it out above with these parentheses. It does it kind of automatically for us. So let's use the between operator to handle the dates. So we're going to say where the date is between, just like we did before, 2023, January, and then the 1st of January, and 2023, December, and the 31st of December. So this is going to give us the exact same results, but let's confirm that. So we're going to run both queries just to make sure we get exactly what we want. To do that, again, we're going to hit the third option here, which is the execute SQL script. It'll run the whole page. Remember, the semicolon here is very important, otherwise you will get an error. Okay, so we have two tabs. First tab, 24 records. We have 12 records for Apple. We have 12 records for Google. And we don't have any dates prior to January 1st, 2023. The second tab, we have 24 records. We have 12 records for Apple, 12 records for Google, and again, we have no dates falling outside of the date range that we're using. 1/31/2023 is our earliest date. So, two queries, they look completely different, but they do the exact same thing, and that is basically how SQL works. You could assign the same problem to 10 different people. You could get 10 completely different approaches, and all 10 people could have the right answer. These are both correct. I prefer the second option because it's a lot cleaner. You're taking basically, what do we got? 6 rows of where conditions taken down to 2 rows. So that's it for the where statement. It's a good place to stop. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel for free learning opportunities. Visit our website at datacoaching.io to set up a free personalized consultation. We'll be offering private, group, and corporate options, and follow us on LinkedIn for special announcements. Thank you.